Hey, hey, welcome back. Today is Monday, April 6th, 2026. It's around 5 p.m., and we're living it up on this beautiful, sunny, and warm Washington day. It's looking pretty dope. We are at Taylor Shellfish Family Farms. Got this beautiful little baby lighthouse behind us, and nice blue sky, and the ocean, and the mountains, and just about all a man can ask for. Just about. So, today we're on here to talk about contentness in, I guess, just general life. My 2 cents as a 21-year-old don't really have crazy amount of world experience because I haven't gone to a crazy amount of places, but I have lived 21 years. I've gone around enough, I feel like, to an extent. A lot of traveling coming up very soon. Stay tuned. But in terms of contentness, I'm in this like limbo stage. If anyone's ever been a senior in college, then I guess I hope you relate to this. I I graduate not in the spring but the summer, and today's the spring. Today's the start of the spring quarter for my college. So I actually have it a little bit later than most people that are graduating on the standard timeline, but there's still this part of me that's gnawing. That's like, what are you gonna do after? What, yeah, what will you do after you graduate? And I don't have any internships lined up. I don't want to work in the corporate space. I, that's just not my vibe. Like, yeah, the money pays pretty good, but like, is it worth me like having to put on a mask for people and pretend all day and work monotonous, what feels like useless tasks that aren't actually bettering the lives of individuals, but rather lining the pockets of corporations that are already lining their pockets in other ways, and I'm just helping them, and they're giving me a commission in terms of my salary. No, I don't really want to do that. And it's hard, especially as a Gen Z person, to wrestle with that because there's not a lot of job opportunity out there. And you'll see like people talk about, oh, I applied to 200 jobs on LinkedIn and they all either ghosted me, didn't reply to me, or I applied to so many jobs that the one that did bring me, like, wants me to go forward with them is something that is either completely not unrelated to the career study that I studied, or um just a tarot, like, not something. I don't want to say worth my time because that sounds egotistic, but you would think that when you graduate you would be able to have a lot of opportunity with that. I'm in digital marketing, especially, like, our degree is in high demand, I'll say. Like, being able to be a good digital marketer is in high demand these days because we drive the money. We drive the eyeballs that give the money. And my spiel earlier about corporate ethics, I guess, really ties into why I feel a little bit conflicted with this degree. It's because, like, we have a consumerism problem in America, and it's like we spend too much on things we don't need to impress people we don't like. Shout out Tyler Durden. Um, Pretty sure that's where it's from. But yeah, I mean, think about your last like 5 purchases. Were they life and death necessities? No. Were they maybe to increase your comfort in your current state? Maybe. But we can probably safely say, and I'm not talking about groceries or anything like that. I'm talking about like your Amazon history. Most of the stuff in there you don't actually need. It's nice to haves. And I'm driving those purchases of nice to haves with a majority of my marketing work. And I mean, purchasing is how the economy goes around, but I mean, it feels conflicting when it's like you're aiding in people not being able to. I don't want to say not being able to because we are all responsible for the decisions we make, but I'm leading them down a path like a horse with blinders on to a specific way, and that puts me as someone who wants to conduct their work ethically at the cost of maybe a cut to their paycheck, but yeah, it leaves only a minority of the marketing jobs that would otherwise be available to pick from. But anyway, I've been talking about myself too much. Um, but I know that there's no one else here with me, so I'm trying to, and I got no script, so I'm just making things up. Um, but yeah, it's confliction. Confliction. I mean, yeah, as I was saying with my marketing stuff, it's like I'm conflicted there. And most college graduates actually don't end up working in the field that they studied in, which is a red flag of this whole system. I feel like, and kind of either the job economy or college in general. But I mean, it's not defeatist, but it's like, what can I do about it? I kind of just have to navigate it and pay my bills, you know. So it's a bit complicated to want to work in an ethical field when the skill set you have and the money to be able to afford things is in the slightly unethical capitalistic jobs and degrees. So, yeah, that's one thing that I've been, I guess, wrestling with is like, yeah, what do I do after I graduate? After I graduate, because it's like I was saying, there's not a lot of stuff out there, and that makes me so sad. And even if there comes a time where I like decide to work at an okay-ish, it's doing an okay impact to the world type company, I like as much as I love this place. This is my home. This is the region I grew up in, where we are right now, along Chuckanut. There's really not a lot of opportunity around me geographically. I would have to make it myself. And I do have an entrepreneurial spirit to an extent. But as I was saying earlier with like the purchasing with the blinders on, it's like um I haven't been focused on getting that launched if I were to do that. I mean, this is slightly an attempt, me filming here, but I'm doing this as a passion project because I wanted a place to vent and talk with people or talk to the camera, I guess, because um, all of my friends either live down south or up north, none in this area. And while that does bring me a type of peace to an extent, that like I don't have to like feel like I'm gonna run into anyone while I'm like wearing a weird outfit or whatever. I know it's like what's the word? Superficial, but also, but that like aloneness can also get into those like monotonous days where it's like you're kind of just chilling or working, and then you come home, like you don't see anyone you know at like the store, like or like the gym. I mean, that's just I guess what happens when you grow up in a small town. You grow up seeing like for like 18 years seeing the same like few hundred people over and over and over again. You see them at the supermarket, you see them in the school, and then you see them like around just walking or something on the side of the road. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been conflicted with what I want. But I guess this is the perfect time for me to be conflicted with what I want because, like I said, I graduate in around mid August. That's when summer quarter finishes, and the world is my oyster. I like to think that. But then reality sets in. I gotta I gotta pay for things. I gotta I can't just coast on FAFSA loan and pay it back when I have a job. Because the FAFSA and all that pays for like my eating and my other things. And it's like it's a whole world of unknown after being in the education system for 18 plus years up until this point. But I guess everyone goes through this at some point where you work on something for a very long time and then you finally get it. And then it's like, what do I do now? And those who already have internships and jobs lined up maybe aren't worried about that. But I don't have that. But it is also my choice that I didn't have that because if I really wanted to, I could have. I've had the connections that would have allowed me to. But it just wasn't. It would have been too much of a commitment for me to sacrifice that pivotal moment I have of I'm graduated. I don't have any full on commitments. I still live with my parents. Um, and I don't have any serious bills to pay right now. This is the perfect time for me to go and travel. And in the meantime, while I'm still working on school and all that, I'm still just doing my local mini trips like this one right now into Taylor Shellfish. There's a bunch of people occasionally just like there's like outdoor seating right over there. And occasionally I'll look over and there's like just people like looking at me, but it's like I'm holding up a microphone on this little peninsula of sorts. I would imagine I stand out a little bit. But and then it's like when you don't take that opportunity of like those connections I was saying, it almost feels like I'm like picky or greedy because I don't want to work in a space that will give me a I'll say this, it would give me a low six-figure income at 22. That's pretty ballin'. That's pretty sick. Like 10K a month chilling. My age, that sounds pretty rad. But it's what I would have to do to get that would bother me more than not having that money. It's not like this is some demon company or anything. There's a few companies like Microsoft is one of them. I could maybe have gotten into Microsoft, and I still can after college if I decide to. Probably, if they're not laying off thousands of people like they have been doing. Um, but it's like you saw the files, I saw the files, I know what Billy Gates did, and I can imagine the things that the files have yet to say, if there's still any files left, um, of what he did on Little St. James. And it's like that. Like, I'm lining that man's pockets? Hell no. It's a weird world being a young man with ethics to an extent. I mean, nobody's perfect, but when you want to think about how to actually, like, live and take care of yourself, like, how many people think about ethics? Or is it, like, something we just compromise because we need our first level of the hierarchy of needs? Are, like, our ethics up here, and stable income and security, I guess that would be labeled as security, is down here? Maybe. I guess I'm just wondering, how far can I go balancing the two of, like, having a stable and affluent enough income at some point to be able to, I guess, be the sole worker in my household? Or do I have to compromise at some point and work something I'm not necessarily proud to say I work at X? Not like X Twitter, but like X as the example. But I guess both would apply. I'm going on a tangent. Okay. But yeah, like, I don't. How far is the line go with, like, pushing? I guess it's up to the person, and I don't know where mine is quite yet, and that makes me a little bit nervous to, I guess, really go in there and see where that is, and I'm hoping it's where I want it to be. Or does it get to the point where, like, I only have maybe like triple digits in my bank account and I got a bill to pay? I need to pick up an odd job that is pushing seed oils or some bullshit to little kids. Like, I mean, I'm talking about like Costco free sample or something, because that's a job I've done before. God, the things they would have to sell, man. It was like, dude, there was one time where I was selling Jello, and Jello has gelatin in it. And the place I was in for Washington has a surprising amount of Muslims. And there was no, like, warning, this is Jello or this has gelatin in it sign, because Jello is made out of pork. And I I had to make my own sign because I saw like 20 of them, like, throughout the course of like an hour or two, eat it. Like, they gave it to like their kids and stuff. Like, that's like what I feel like I would be doing if I were pushing specific stuff with like marketing. Like, rain bet, rain bet, rain bet. As I'm gonna see when you scroll or something, like gambling is that. Um, or like this random energy drink. Um, maybe called like Fahrenheit or something, if you get what I'm referencing. Um, like, no, I don't want to push that BS. I want to be like an actual positive influence to the world. That's Yeah, I guess that's about all I have today. It's beautiful skies. I wonder if you guys could see the tide coming in as I was talking. I guess look at where it is now and skip to the beginning of the video or something. But yeah, as I said, the tide's coming in, so I gotta get back because otherwise my pathway will be cut off. So yeah, it was good talking to you because I'm not like talking with you. I'm talking just to you. But yeah, I guess I'll see you next time.